Modena Marks. This is going to be the most Reddit video I've ever made. Today I'm going to talk about the John Wick movies. Whatever, man. These things are epic kino. I'm not talking about the spin-offs. I'm going mainline franchise. We all know the story, right? International hitman John Wick leaves the game, gets a wife, settles down, wife dies, then one day a group of Euro thugs attack his home and kill his dog. From then on, he's out to get revenge. Simple. Predator, Aliens, Die Hard, Miller's Crossing, Buster Keaton, and SpongeBob all inspired Derek Kolstad as he wrote the first drafts for John Wick, known at the time as Scorn. During the 2000s, Derek wrote 8 screenplays a year, writing 60 before he found success with 2 movies, one in the chamber and The Package, in 2012 and 2013 respectively. The dude even dropped writing at one point before that as he saw it as a fruitless endeavor. That was until his wife encouraged him to pick up the craft again. Bros. Maybe women are based. At the time, the first few drafts only had a kill count of 11. Lame. Basil Iwanek, I think that's how you say it, at the same time was looking to get into producing for Warner Bros. Through Thunder Road Films. Basil read the script for John Wick and we were off to the races. With an offer being sent Derek's way, Kolstad had multiple offers for the film, but Thunder Road wanted to start making the film right away. Despite being the lowest bid for the script, Kolstad took Thunder Road up on their offer. At the same time, we have to talk about another player in the story, Keanu Reeves. Keanu at this time was not hot. He was coming off some stinkers. If you weren't there in the early 2010s action scene and you just know John Wick devoid of its context, you may be thinking, how bad could it have been? Dude was coming off some shit. Man of Tai Chi, 47 Ronin, Generation The train had come off the tracks for Keanu, who at the time I think was more well known for sad Keanu memes and being a nice guy more than he was for acting. The Matrix was like 13 years ago, and as badass as that movie was, the other two were stinkers. Speed, My Own Private Idaho, Constantine, anything relevant this dude did was a long time ago, and he needed an image rehab, because as much as I love this guy, he's a very limited actor, and when things don't cater towards his strengths, he gets exposed, and that's how you end up on as cold as a streak as Reeves was on. Mr. Producer Basil was friends with Keanu's agent and sent him the script, and by jingers, he liked all the things that everyone else involved loved about the script. Jeez, it all comes together so well, doesn't it? Surely nothing bad can happen now. While Basil was busy attaching Reeves to the movie, Keanu also sent the script to Chad Stahelski and David Leitch, whom he envisioned would be the stunt coordinators for the movie. They worked on the Matrix films and a few others like Constantine together, Keeping the Family Toast, Brothers in Arms. And Chad also did some work on some other films as well, like Hunger Games 1, Hunger Games 2, Spider-Man 2, the Dukes of Hazzard remake. Alright, this guy has worked on some certified grade A kino. I kneel. Once the script was sent to Chad and David, they counterattacked and asked, can we pretty please just like the movie? We'll do a good job, I promise. And you know what? That shit worked. They had their own production company. They had a vision. They had some sort of blunt sesh with Keanu and told him what they wanted to do with the film. And Keanu went back to Basil, and then they all smoked up again and talked about the vision, and everyone decided to lock in. Once he was locked in, Reeves grew his hair out and trained for 4 months, gymming, stretching, diet, choreography, and MMA classes, specializing in judo, Japanese and Brazilian jiu-jitsu, Arnis, a martial arts from the Philippines, so obviously that's got to be the strongest discipline, and gun training. Dude was putting in work. The casting was done in September 2013. They decided to go with affordable actors who were available, no splurging and no breaking schedule. This cannot go wrong. Financial mismanagement immediately caused problems before and during the filming. Financial backers weren't paying. Iwanek was a novice in film financing and fumbled the bag at certain points. He almost cancelled the whole movie 5 days before filming. To save the production, he deferred from his own fees, gave the costume designer his personal credit card to use. He lost weight and wasn't eating from all the stress. get this man a Bunnings snag. They chose New York to film as it just felt right. According to the filmmakers, Iwanek said, "If I shoot John Wick with the Brooklyn Bridge in the background, it feels like a big movie." Despite limitations in the Big Apple, one such restriction was they had to stick to the speed limit while filming car chases. Ugh. They got through it. Inspired by Le Cercle Rouge, The Return of the Pink Panther, Akira Kurosawa, John Woo, Sergio Leone, and more, the team started designing the world of John Wick, secret hotels, churches fronting for criminal gangs, gold coins, and don't forget suits. As well as the visual design, long takes, holding on composition, and restricting cuts only to cover mistakes, these guys wanted to make this movie stand out in the action slop that took over at the time. Action movies with rapid cuts and shaky cam was seriously a problem at the time. Action movies were in decline. There had to be an honest-to-God commitment from this team to do something different in the US action movie sphere, or this thing was gonna flop hard. There was also a financial reason not to use quick cuts. They shot this with a single camera setup. Talk about making the most of what you have. Iwanek said if they had an extra 5 to 10 million, they could have afforded a multi-camera setup and second unit filming, but economic restrictions resulted in a better action film. Action had no problem finding a home in other countries, but America is the land of cutting corners and half-assing shit in the name of profit. So action slop was churned out and the genre was turning sour. Superheroes, Disney remakes, and franchises were the name of the game. The game had changed, dog. It's at least partly what David and Chad thought. They made it a point to avoid these tropes as much as they could when they put John Wick together. Jeez, this thing is sounding like a real underdog story, huh? Getting me right in the feels. I'm rooting for this thing. When it came to lighting the movie, Leach said any scene with Helen and John would be organic and warm, very cinema verite, very real. Alright, Frederick Wiseman. The underworld of assassins and the high table was to be hyper exaggerated, neon lighting, atmospheric textures, unexpected elements, all are scattered throughout this world. Kolstad did not describe the underworld to production designer Dan Lee, giving him a shit ton of freedom. After filming finished, there was a longer cut that got trimmed to 101 minutes. Give me the director's cut, goddammit. James Mangold even gave feedback on a couple of cuts because all the bros worked together on the Wolverine. I guess it pays to have connections. Apparently, Iwanek was still not convinced about John doing all of this violence over a dog. Keanu saved the day. He allegedly told him, "You guys wanted to make a hardcore action movie, right? You wanted to do something genre outside the box, right? So what's wrong?" So we went back and adjusted our attitude to being unapologetic, and we just went, "John Wick kills 80 guys because of a puppy. Fuck you, we're done." After airing at the Austin Film Festival and Fantastic Fest, the word of mouth for the movie started spreading. Reese flops in the short promotion cycle was not working in this flick's favor, but despite these odds, John Wick was screened in 42 cities in the USA for a week before the movie's official release date, for free. What? This one trick was like pouring gasoline on a lit match. Word of mouth for this thing ramped up hard. God damn it, I hate America. In New Zealand, you're lucky if a movie that's not a superhero movie even plays at your local theater. My hometown doesn't even have a cinema, and y'all can just go see John Wick for free, man. Fuck you. $86 million box office on a 20 to 30 mil budget. Not too shabby, while also getting decent reviews. Boys, I think we did well. After all this, was the movie good? Yeah, actually it was. Surprisingly good, in fact. I like the movie a lot. The script is fine, the acting is passable, if not dodgy, but that's not what makes a movie great sometimes. All you need is soul. Maybe you call it heart, whatever you want to call it. The world this movie establishes is probably the biggest stroke of genius in this whole thing, as well as the action, but I digress. There's so much to love, from the ways John interacts with the world to the extensive side characters that all seem to know who John is. The framing of John as the boogeyman, a folktale that everyone knows in the underworld, was also brilliant. Unlike another movie which could have easily thrust a unsuspecting character into the world and have to figure out the rules, we got paired with the top dog. Well, the top dog who wasn't a crime boss, but That one change to the whole setup helped subvert us from the typical framing that I think would have happened under another writer. John is our hero up against massive odds, but he's also a ruthless killer who is the baddest motherfucker in this world. The other narrative at play here is Keanu returning to the world of action movies. He's also up against the odds. Like John, Reeves is a famously nice guy, just wants to keep living his life. But like John, he's failed. John has failed and is out to get revenge by orchestrating a symphony of violence. Reeves is not getting revenge per se, but is returning to a world where he's a bit of a myth as well. The former Ballad of Bull whose best days are past him, so he has no choice but to go all in and show people that he's not washed. And in fact, if he played to his strengths, he can still kick ass. And the action does kick ass in this one. How could it not? The directors are stunt actors and coordinators. The best of these action scenes is the club scene, in my opinion. Look, there's a whole lot of movie to love here, but personally, just like upcoming Wick flicks, I find they peak a bit too early and they put the best action sequences way too early. Maybe that's just me. It's one of the problems I have with this movie. The action by the end just didn't live up to what I've already seen. Oh well, I'll be a salty bitch. I'm not doing a whole breakdown of the plot, so to get a whole lot of opinions out, I'm gonna do some quick top threes that should give you an idea of my opinion on this movie. Top three fights: the second home invasion, then the dock fight finale, but number one is the Red Circle bathhouse fight. And then my top three side characters, because John Wick is full of them. Diesel as Francis, the nightclub security guard. Willem Dafoe as Marcus. I wish he had survived because I think it would have been dope to see him do more. And John Leguizamo as Ariello, or whatever his name was. Anyone from Chef who's in a movie, they're going to go number one. Now that that's out of the way, there's something in the air. Financial success? A dedicated co-star and two keen directors? I smell a sequel. Yes, in February 2015, John Wick 2 was announced and Joe Rogan fans everywhere had their hairs on the back of their necks stand up. In May 2015, Lionsgate sold the film at Cannes and once again we're off to the races. Casting was done and filming commenced in October. Boy howdy, these guys move fast. I like their style. New York, Montreal, Rome and New Jersey. Ugh, all were used for filming. Jeez, this movie sounds like a real barn burner again. The film opened in February 2017. It grossed 174 mil worldwide. Cha-ching, far surpassing the original's box office. The movie is a success, and the production went off without a hitch, but how was the movie? To be honest, it was fine. I'm not sure you'd find anyone who says this is their favorite. This sort of has the same problems as the first. John is approached by a crime boss to kill his own sister. Thus, in turn, he can take her place on the high table. And so, after some, let's just call it strong arming, John goes globetrotting to Rome. So then we get a fantastic portion of the movie in Rome. John is intent on killing this guy's sister. We get kick-ass fight scenes, gnarly shootouts, and a whole lot of fun involving the underworld. But then the movie has to go back to New York and continue. I'm not saying this part is bad, and geez, it does set up the sequel at the end and leave you wanting more. But once we leave Rome, I thought, why couldn't this be the end? I know there's a lot I'm leaving out, and it makes sense why he goes back to the US. But personally, a sequel is meant to be bigger, badder, and whatnot. But why do we have to have the same peaking early problem as the first? Maybe I'm being too harsh, but that's just like my opinion, man. Overall, it's still a whole lot of fun, and I'm quickly gonna do some top threes and then move on to John Wick 3. Top three fights: John fighting all the gala goons in the museum, John fights Common in New York, and John fighting his way out of Rome. That shit was badass. Top three side characters: Common is Cassian, Lawrence Fishburne is the Bowery King, and Peter Serafinaux. I don't know if I'm even doing that right at all, but him as the sommelier was kind of crazy. Jeez, two successes in a row. What the hell would the studio want to do now? New IP? Spin-off? Nah, let's just get another mainline sequel and ride this thing to the end. Because it's 2016. Chad has just announced another new John Wick movie in the works. Life is great. Nothing could happen that could ruin the vibes. My god, we should have realized how good we had it. In June 2017, Derek is back to write the screenplay. Surely this is a bright spot in the world. But it can't get any worse. January 2018, Chad is back to direct. Casting is in the works. Everyone who's alive in the universe is coming back. Principal photography is starting in May. It lasts till November. Surely things in the world can't get any worse and the vibes are gonna stay a little bit positive. Man, in the death spiral of the world, there was some hope. John Wick 3 released in May 2019, just in time for Hunter Biden to kick it and watch it in the White House next year. That's what was on his laptop, after all. $171 million in the United States and Canada, a further 156 mil around the globe, a profit of 89 million. My god, boys, we have hit the jackpot. It was the first film to kick Endgame from its #1 spot at the box office and thus changing the vibes of cinema forever. Man, this thing is sick, bruh. It's sick. It's giving people mental illness. That's how sick it is. This movie is a success and then some. The last movies were box office for sure, but this is the shit legacies are made of. It's the jump from Mission Impossible 3 to Ghost Protocol. It's Star Wars to Empire Strikes Back. It's pre-Grimace Mets to OMG Grimace Mets. We're following John as even more people are out to get him. He's excommunicado from the assassin world and bruv, we are deep in it. We are deep into the lore now. What started as, I'm sure, just a thing to make the ripples a little thicker in the first film are waves here. You have secret offices around the world staffed with like greaser chicks. You have worldwide hotels for assassins. Halle Berry shows up. These things just keep leveling up. It's crazy. The scope of these movies just get bigger and bigger. More rules and traditions of the underworld are introduced. And in classic Wick fashion, they just happen. They don't bore you with exposition about why these things happen. The movies just do things in front of you and trust you to understand the vibe. You also have the most epic finale so far in these movies, the battle for the Continental, with some of our hardest to kill goons so far. Seriously, this isn't like Far Cry when you get to the big dudes who you just can't take down when you're trying to capture an outpost. It just reinforces my opinion that John Wick is a video game that you're just not playing. An unfounded theory for sure. Also, we get the knife museum fight. Again, these movies peak early. We get spoiled with the best fight of the whole movie happening in the first quarter. And they gotta figure this problem out. Oh well. Again, I'm gonna do some top threes to round out my opinions on this flick. Top 3 fights: Wick, Duel Zero, the Continental Battle, and then number 1, come on man, the Knife Museum. Like, what the fuck else is it gonna be? And then top 3 side characters: Mark Dacascos as Zero, Jason Mantzoukas as TikTok Man, and come on, Boban Marjanovic, or however you pronounce that shit, as Ernest. Come on. Finally, after like writing the script for 2 weeks while working on assignments and working for meager wages, I finally get to John Wick 4, sort of best case scenario and massive sequels. The runtime longer, the action better, the stars abundant, the hype real. May 20th. Just as John Wick 3 is releasing, Lionsgate announced again that another sequel is in development. In an interview with IndieWire, Chad said that with the making of the 4th film, John may survive all this shit, but at the end of it, there's no happy ending. He's got nowhere to go. Honestly, I challenge you right now. Here's a question for you. How do you fucking want me to end it? Do you think he's going to ride off into the fucking sunset? He's killed 300 fucking people and he's just going to walk away. Everything's okay. He's just gonna fall in love with a love interest. If you're this fucking guy, and if this guy existed, how is this guy's day going to end? He's fucked for the rest of his life. It's just a matter of time. The studio didn't bring back Derek Kolstad for the writing of this one. Instead, they've brought back Shay Hatton from 3, but then they also brought in Michael Finch. Uh-oh, what's happening? I hope this works out. The original cut of this film, due to all the new characters, all the new world building, was 225 minutes, I shit you not. Nathan Orloff on the edit had to shred weight from this thing and got it down to 169 minutes. Christ, that's still a long movie. Man, I would give my left nut just to get my hands on the OG cut of this thing. It's got to exist somewhere. This will hopefully go down as a crowning achievement of sequel filmmaking. I'm sure it has already. I'm so late to the party on this. You are paying off 3 movies that come before it with an expanded runtime. This could have been dog shit. This could have been a disaster, but who am I kidding? Come on. This movie got delayed and delayed. First it was COVID, then Keanu had commitments for The Matrix 4, then they didn't want to compete with non-woke boomer white man movie. Fuck. Sorry, I mean Engine Vroom Vroom No DEI movie. Ah, shit. I mean Kick-Ass Vroom Vroom movie. Fuck. I mean Top Gun Maverick. In my hometown, we have a bar restaurant called Mavericks just because Top Gun Maverick was such a hit with the old white dudes who populate the area. Fuck, we are such an embarrassing country sometimes. This is the shit they don't tell you about New Zealand. In March 2025, the film also released in China, the first to play there. They promoted the movie as a Keanu Donnie Yen buddy cop movie and promoted it with clips of Donnie on Weibo and Red Note. Comrades, we are so back. The film was also banned in Vietnam for a short while because of Donnie's stance on China's claim of the South China Sea. Let's just not. Wick 4.0 was a massive success. $450 million at the box office, boys. To the moon. And the critical evaluation was positive. Look, the script for this one's getting pretty long. I gotta wrap this up at some point. I'll do some top threes for this movie and then I'll wrap up the vid. Top 3 fights. The uphill battle on the Rue Foyetier steps. The Dragon's Breath shotgun. The Osaka Continental fight. The Berlin battle. And the final duel. Look, it's more than 3, but whatever. This movie is so badass. Top 3 side characters in this one. Donnie Yen as Kane. Shamir Anderson as Tracker. I didn't like him at first, but he turned out brilliant. And Clancy Brown as Harbinger. I want to see more of this guy. After the success of all these movies, we are now getting some from the Book of Saw type beats with Ballerina and a show set in the Continental being announced, as well as John Wick 5. Maybe I'm hype. I'm not sure. We're in an age now where something just can't exist. You gotta have the spin off show, the sequels that aren't sequels to explain side characters. You gotta be the meme of the cow that's empty, the farmer coming in to milk it more. I never put too much faith in these because you never know how much of the original talent that made the original IP so successful is going to return. But they're not out yet. I haven't seen them. I'll hold my judgment, or like Star Wars, Dune, Marvel, Suits LA, NCIS Takapuna. I'll just not bother and keep the memories of the franchise pure because it seems people just can't ignore spin offs and such and have to let it taint their view of the original or something. Or maybe unjustly compare it to the original. I don't know where this is going. Just sort of a rant to end this vid. I've been speaking too much. This video's long. The shit is going to take long to make. My next video is going to be far shorter. To my 5 subscribers, goodbye. And watch the John Wick movies. These things are fucking dope, okay? Just trust me.